We are back. Yes, once again, unofficial commentators, keeping it going, baby. 2025 fantasy football season. Coach Paki over here, JJ98 over there. What's up, man? Let's get it rolling.
It is week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We already saw the first of the bye weeks coming back to haunt some teams, bite them in the butt. And without further ado, man, we're going to jump right into the recap for week number 5. Week 5 started with Thursday Night Football, which was the San Francisco 49ers playing the Los Angeles Rams. The key to this week's episode is that the devil is going to be always in the details. So early on in the game, the 49ers got a block extra point attempt, right? This would have made it so that going forward, the separation, if we're scoring by touchdowns, would have put them apart by 4 points rather than the possibility of tying it up with a field goal and staying within field goal range. That proved to be costly because ultimately Mac Jones comes in, throws a couple of touchdown passes, keeps him in the game long enough to go into overtime. And then at that point, they go on to score another field goal, and that ends the game. Um, there was another chance for the Rams to potentially tie the game and just kind of keep it going, but they wanted to go for the win. And I see you shaking your head. Why do you disagree?
Oh, I agree with the call. I disagree with what happened.
Well, there was a chance. They wanted to either win or go home. Ties is like kissing your sister.
Yeah,
All right. So
I never play for ties, dude. I am never going for a tie. I can't think. I'm sure there's a scenario where I would go for a tie, but I play to win, and I've been in multiple situations where I can go for a tie and I go for the win, and I've won more than times than I've lost, and when I lose with pride because I'm like, fuck it, dude, I went for the win, right? So it sucks that they fumbled at the goal line, right? Kyrie Williams,
Kyron Williams, yeah.
he fumbled, right? So that got messed up. But at the end of the day, dude, this is not the first time I've said it, and it won't be the last time I say it in this episode. Divisional matchups are always crazy, and anything can happen. I've said it before. This was a coaching masterclass by Kyle Shanahan. I mean, these guys know each other from back in the day. They both coached together, as well as Matt LaFleur and Mike McDaniels from the Dolphins. They all coached together under Kyle Shanahan's dad, Mike Shanahan, when he was in Washington. So they know each other very well. They always put up a good matchup. So, Kyle Shanahan had the upper hand in coaching with all the injuries that San Francisco had on defense and offense.
Oh, talk
It is
about it.
insane that they were able to look this good. And again, that just proves that your quarterback is out, your best defender is out, every receiver is out, your starting tight end is out. It's like, and you know what? We're still going to win a divisional matchup against one of the best teams in football. Dude, coaching masterclass.
Absolutely. Shout out to Puka Nakua and to Christian McCaffrey. They showed up big for me. They had me practically win
Yeah.
my matchup on Thursday. I
Too
had
bad.
zero.
If Devontae Adams wasn't falling off, maybe they would have won. You
Come on, man. Oh, this whole conversation about him falling off, that's crazy. He's still in it, brother.
know.
All right.
Gotta throw some jabs.
I get it. All right. There was international play on Sunday morning. The Minnesota Vikings played against the Cleveland Browns. Uh, Again, another game of backup quarterbacks essentially playing. Carson Wentz going up against his name is Dylan Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
haven't learned it yet, and I'm not much to watch college football. So Dylan Gabriel went out there. Essentially, a fumble by the Browns running back Xavier Scott, recovered by Mahmoud Diabate of Cleveland, which later in the game led to the game-winning score. Uh, Justin Jefferson, after me saying that he wasn't a quarterback proof, he came out to potentially prove me wrong. Had over 100 yards, like something like 18 catches. And at the end of the day, at the end of that game, the Vikings beat the Cleveland Browns 21-17 in London.
I'm starting to love these international games, dude. It's like a free primetime game. It's early in the morning, but
Oh,
yeah, I mean, I love the fact that there's only one when there's only one game on TV. It's so easy to watch. I have a hard time shuffling around games on Sunday afternoon, dude. So it's easy when there's only one game on TV. So I'm starting to like these international games. But I mean, a lot of people were hyped with Dylan Gabriel's performance compared to Joe Flacco. He looked amazing, but at the end of the day, he still looked like a rookie. He can't get the ball downfield. That's why he's a third round pick. He looked like a third round pick. He did what he was supposed to do, right? He managed the game pretty well. He didn't turn the ball over. I think Quentin Judkins is the main character in Cleveland right now, and what we should really be talking about. But everything's lost in the quarterback sauce. But that dude Judkins is freaking amazing, dude. I love watching that guy run the way he gets skinny. So, again, it's unfortunate that they lost because it was his debut. But at the end of the day, it's what I talk about rookies. I said it about Jackson Dart. We'll talk about it later as well. But if you can't get the ball downfield consistently, he didn't complete a single even close. So like if you can't get the ball downfield consistently, defense are just gonna key in, man. And that's what happened. That's what happened in the second half. About 50% completion rate. Not great.
speaking of falling off, so Nick Chubb goes down with an injury, and it becomes the Jerome Ford show. How is he so far behind Quinton Judkins in the depth chart?
I don't know if I said his name right now that you said it that way, but the Judkins is a stud, bro. He's a stud. He's coming from Ohio State. I think the thing with Ford is just Ford is what he is. You know what I mean? He's a good running back. He's not a great running back. He's not a game changer. Um, Judkins is a game changer. They drafted him in the second round for a reason. When they had Nick Chubb in his prime, he was a game changer. You know what I mean? And you need that, especially when you don't have a star quarterback. So that's the difference.
I feel you. I want to give some love to Kendrick Bourne, who showed up in that Thursday night game. I didn't want to go too far ahead without
That
mentioning
might
him. And
that might never happen again.
well, considering the struggles in San Francisco, I mean, yeah, the kind of game that he had may not be replicated, but he may be a name to watch in the waiver wire. I don't know. I
I
mean, the
just
waiver
I
wire is
just I
pretty
just don't
thin.
trust.
Injuries
I trust
continue to
San
happen.
Francisco. I trust San Francisco. I just don't trust him. It'll be another receiver popping out in the next game. Like I just don't trust these guys to be consistent. These guys are all bums for a reason. I mean, within the NFL standard, because obviously they're amazing athletes, but I don't trust that he will put those numbers up again. Personally, me personally, just
All
saying.
right. There was a chance to come out of this game and remain undefeated, but it wasn't to be so. The Denver Broncos beat the Philadelphia Eagles. This was the biggest upset potentially of the weekend. Maybe one in Sunday Night Football worth mentioning, but the Broncos came back from being down 17-3 in the fourth quarter, outgaining the Eagles 156 yards to only 15 in that period, and they scored 18 unanswered points. Some of the key plays had J.K. Dobbins running in for the go-ahead touchdown. Then I said it when I saw it live. The Broncos have balls. They decided to go for two. Bo Nix hit Evan Ingram for the 2-point conversion, and the Eagles just couldn't come back from that. They tried
You
a Hail
go
Mary
for the win. That's how you go for the
for
win.
sure.
You go for the win. That's what I'm
I mean,
talking
they were
about.
already
I agree
ahead.
with you.
They just wanted to make sure that a field goal wouldn't even approach. That they didn't have the option for field goal. They had to
That's
score
going.
or lose.
That's going for the win. You play to win.
I
A
feel you.
field goal is easy. You know what I mean? That's. I agree with the call 100%. Like at the end of the day, I mean, I don't think this was the biggest surprise of the weekend because I think the New England Buffalo was a bigger surprise. But again, that's a divisional matchup, so we'll talk about that again. The phrase I said earlier, but this all comes down to the Eagles. There's two things here, man. First of all, I mean, I think this is more on the Eagles than it is on the Broncos.
Okay.
Um, the Eagles trying to force the ball, to the receivers to make them happy. They've been disgruntled. It's been very public. It's not a secret. They want the ball. They don't. I'm not going to say that they don't care about winning, but winning is clearly not a priority. The method to the Eagles' success has been taking care of the ball, controlling the clock, controlling the time of
Aaron
possession.
Judge 3 home run. The game is tied 6-6.
There you go. Control the clock, keep the possession, Keep your defense off the field. They didn't do any of that because they kept trying to throw the ball. Saquon Barkley didn't even get 10 carries. Jalen Hurts threw the ball 38 times. I don't think he even did that in any of his Super Bowl appearances. It's ridiculous. I'm not a hater of Jalen Hurts like a lot of people are, but I also understand that Jalen Hurts is not. How do I say this? He's not the guy that's going to throw the ball 40 times a game and be successful, right? Especially versus a top tier defense. Like he needs the supporting cast. So I disagree with the game plan. I disagree with how everything went down. And if they don't fix it, they'll lose other games like this. That's just what it gets down to. Oh, and the other part that I was going to say, sorry, is those receivers, they as much as they want to throw the ball, dude, they couldn't get separation. Like this has been an issue for the Eagles, in my opinion, when they try to throw the ball. There's no separation. Jalen Hurts is in the pocket for like 6 seconds, and then he's running for his life because there's nothing to throw the ball to. And Jalen Hurts is not the type of guy he's not a risk taker. He's not going to take 50-50 shots. He needs to see you open to throw it. That's why he doesn't throw many interceptions. So Patrick Surtain is a beast, right? So they couldn't get separation. They tried to throw the ball. They sacked him like 6 times because of that. So, you know, these were coverage sacks more than offensive or defensive line sacks.
And depending on who you ask, the best cornerback that day was A.J. Brown.
Oh my God. So stupid, bro. So stupid.
All right, the New England Patriots, they beat the Buffalo Bills, another team that was previously undefeated, no longer. The Pats dealt the Bills the first loss of the season. Drake May had a strong showing. Stephon Diggs for the second week in a row showing up. So this might actually be a thing. There's some chemistry building there. Stephon Diggs, 146 receiving yards. Um, they ended the game with a 52-yard field goal by Andy Borregales with 15 seconds left to just leave the Bills on the field. Buffalo, too many penalties, 11 penalties, 90 yards. Anytime they broke anything big, it got called back. 2 fumbles, an interception. I said it when it was happening live. Josh Allen has this bad habit of playing down to bad teams.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even blame 100% on Josh Allen. I think the main culprit of this game was that uniform. Because it looked too much like the Raiders uniform that they use with the silver letters and the all white, and they played like the Raiders. They had some weird ass turnovers too, just like the one like that fumble where it hit I think it was Dallas Kincaid on a motion. Weird fumbles, a lot of penalties, just like the bum ass Raiders. I'm kind of wearing this shirt as like I'm being
I
passive
don't think
aggressive, by
anybody
the
saw
way.
that game and said,
No, I
these
know.
guys are playing
I'm
with
being
the Raiders.
I mean that's what they played like, though. You know what I mean? They I mean the Raiders beat the Patriots at this season. And then credit to Drake May, dude. Drake May looked solid, like you said. Stephon Diggs' revenge game, dude. He did a great job. Um, Shout out to Josh McDaniels, man. Beautiful game plan. A lot of really cool play designs. A lot of interesting motion. They really kept Buffalo's defense on their heels. Josh McDaniels is one of the worst head coaches I've ever seen in my life, but he is a very good offensive coordinator. So, you know, credit to New England as well. And Buffalo didn't play the game. But again, divisional matchup. Crazy shit happens. Crazy fumbles. You know what I mean? Crazy penalties. It's just what happens in divisional games, dude. A lot of people lost money this week, and I bet you, man, a lot of people lost money with these spreads.
I'm going to put you on the spot. I want one word answer, just true or false. Is Drake May better than J.J. McCarthy?
True.
All right.
The Indianapolis Colts shellacked. I've been looking for a moment to use that word. They shellacked the Las Vegas Raiders. Dominant win by the Colts. Everything was clicking. And Jonathan Taylor rushes for 3 touchdowns. JT may be the fantasy player of the year by the time this is all wrapped up. He might already have it in week 5.
Once again, between him and Puka, bro, I mean, they're pretty amazing fantasy players, dude. But this is the Raiders are in total meltdown. They're in meltdown mode. And I called this in our group chat, not in the camera because we weren't recording in the preseason, but I told you, called it. It's going to happen. Raiders are a fucking meltdown. They're already there's already talk about players don't like Pete Carroll. They already cut one of the linebackers that they signed in the offseason supposedly because he didn't like Pete Carroll. Jermaine Pratt. Geno Smith has been hot garbage, the most interceptions in the league. I said about Jalen Hurts, he doesn't take enough risks, right? He's not a risk
Geno
taker. He
Smith,
doesn't throw a lot of picks. Yeah. Geno Smith is the complete opposite. He's kind of like Jameis Winston at this point. He's just like, fuck it, let's go. But he doesn't have the cool vibe that Winston has. You know what I mean? Because with Winston, it's like, you can throw 5 picks. We don't care, dude, because you're so fun to watch. You're funny. Geno Smith is kind of boring, and he sucks. So the Raiders are in total. I think this was more about how bad the Raiders are as an organization and as a team at this point than Indianapolis. Because they just gave them a butt whooping. I mean,
hey
dude, you
man, but
got
Indianapolis, they're
no. They
finding
did
ways to
great.
win.
No, they did great. I'm not taking anything away from Indy, but when you're winning 40-6, that's because the Raiders sucked ass so much. They couldn't even score a touchdown, bro. It was so bad.
There's several
Horrible.
teams that are 4-1. I mean, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
anybody would have projected the Colts to be 4-1.
Bro, that AFC
All
South
right,
is interesting, man.
for sure. So speaking of teams that are in meltdown mode, what is going on with the Baltimore Ravens? They just got their asses kicked by the Houston Texans,
Shit.
44-10. Yes, Lamar Jackson was out, but man, the defense can't stop anybody.
That's the biggest surprise, dude, with Baltimore, to be honest with you. Because the defense is
They've
supposed
always
to be one of
had,
their strengths.
right.
That's the
They've
biggest
always had good
surprise.
defense.
I mean, in another league, I even drafted the Baltimore defense. I dumped them like 3 weeks ago, but I drafted that defense
You should.
thinking like they were. I mean, in hindsight, is 2020, but they're. I mean, if you look at the rankings, they were like ranked number 5 by Yahoo. So they, for fantasy purposes, and they're a very good defense, but they have not played like it. They can't stop the run. They can't stop teams on third down. Drives keep going, right? And then, no Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry looked older than what he is. He looked like and mostly probably because he was getting no support from Lamar Jackson. You can really tell how Lamar Jackson puts an impact on the defense where they can not key on Derrick Henry only, and when they do, there's nothing there. So, yeah, Baltimore looked really bad. Now, the thing with Baltimore is that they have a lot of talent. So these type of teams they have time to turn it around. Even if they sneak in as a wild card, which they can still win a division. It's difficult, but they can still do it. I mean, look at that division. They can still be a dangerous team down the road, but right now they are total garbage,
I can't disagree with you. Probably one of the more fun games of the weekend was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Seattle Seahawks, where Baker Mayfield throws for 379 yards, almost 400 yards for Baker, 2 touchdowns. He threw a 2-point conversion. Most of those yards and the conversion all went to Emeka Egbuka. I'm not
bro.
forgetting this name ever. This
Every
dude
week.
is, yeah, every week.
We called him
Emeka
every
Egbuka,
week.
every week. Yep. It's
Every
him.
week.
It's Njigba. Yeah. I mean, he's up there for let's call him rookie of the year already, but rising fantasy star. I want to
Let me
see what
take a
happens when Mike Evans comes back. But dude, this guy, I'm
let me
not gonna
take a
say he came out of nowhere.
note on my
Yeah.
whiteboard. Note on my whiteboard to draft all wide receivers with African names. And Jigba and Egbuka. Like, what the hell, dude? No, Tua.
I
Oh, no,
mean,
Nakua's not African, but let's say foreign names. Jesus Christ, dude, these guys are killing it, man. Yeah.
absolutely, it pays
I'm,
to be the number one target.
I'm,
379 yards for Baker, man.
I'm finding myself watching the Buccaneers every week. Like, they're just such a fun team to watch. And Baker is just so fun to watch. Every week I have to tune into a Buccaneers game. I don't care who they're playing. They're just really fun to watch. I saw an interesting but interesting fact. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield were the 1 and third pick in 2018. And they were considered both bust. I mean, but that just proves to you, man, that sometimes the uniform makes a difference, right? Because they were drafted by Cleveland and the Jets. And look at these guys now, man. Both of them were on the same team at one point in Carolina. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
they both got shown the door.
and all
So
three of those
look at
teams suck.
because you talk about Baker, but Sam Darnold was like lighting it up as well, dude. Like
Oh
Baker
yeah, they
won,
were
but
going toe to toe, man.
Sam Darnold was
Haymaker for haymaker.
awesome, dude. Sam Darnold was awesome, man. This was a super fun game to watch, man. Great for fantasy, right? Because
Since I
uh,
won my fantasy matchup on Thursday, I didn't really give it much mind, but I think going forward, Sam Darnold is going to be my fantasy quarterback, and uh, Kyler Murray is probably going to take a step back.
Yeah, I don't even know if
Uh,
Sam Darnold was drafted, but if he was, he's definitely a steal. Because if he was drafted, I'm sure it was close to the end of the draft.
Nah, I picked him up from free agency, not even waivers. I still have my first
Total
waiver
steal.
priority.
Total steal,
I
man.
believe
Total
so.
steal.
Yep. All right. So the Giants. Oh God. 3 turnovers for Jackson Dart, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble. Overall, the Saints got 5 turnovers with 2 interceptions and recovered 3 fumbles. That led to New Orleans' first win of the season, and they did it kind of dirty. It wasn't too much of a spectacle. Their offense didn't look great, although I did benefit from Rashid Shaheed getting into the end zone. But other than that, I still don't place much trust in the Saints' defense or the offense. I don't think Spencer Rattler's any kind of special. Um, Anything else to mention here?
I mean, like we talked about, right? Jackson Dart looked like a rookie, right? He had but he shows flashes, dude. He had really good throws. He had really good plays. He's so dynamic when he's running and scrambling. Honestly, that's the best part. Like this dude is super athletic, right? But again, what we talked about last week, what we mentioned earlier about Dylan Gabriel, if you cannot threaten the defense deep downfield, you're gonna have rough weeks sometimes. You know what I mean? And obviously, not having Malik Neighbors makes that even more difficult, right? Cam Scatterbu had a huge fumble, right? So that also has a
Huge.
lot to do with it. He said it was the gloves, but I think he got
Dude,
popped.
every
To be
week
honest with you,
it's a block kick, it's a punch to force a fumble. I hear all the experts talk about how they are training these punch out things. I don't know how accurate you can train them or if it's just luck, but I mean,
yeah,
happens once, it's luck, happens twice, fluke, happens every damn week, then maybe this is a thing.
yeah. My only thing is, I still don't understand why Devin Singletary is getting the ball at any point. In the Giants, you know what I mean? I really don't get it. I mean, learn from the Chargers, dude. I mean, Marion Hampton did get hurt. We'll talk about that later. But dude, just give it to Cam. Cam Scatterbu's doing a good job. Even though he had that fumble, I still trust him. That dude had one of the nastiest and coolest blocks I've seen probably in my life from a
For
running back,
sure.
dude. Dude, that dude he's a freaking. I love players like that, man. Let them play. But again, Jackson Dart, dude, most of his completions, if you look at the game, where most of his completions were out of play action, or screens, right? So if you can't drop back on third and long, on third down, right? Because that's where it gets down to. Like this team is built to succeed on third and shorts, as of right now. So until Jackson Dart keeps developing, that's where they're going to be. So anytime they find themselves in a third and long situation because of a penalty or bad field position, they're going to struggle to score, right? And then turnovers are going to cost even more when you can't, when you can't get the ball downfield like we were talking about. So again, bad teams play bad sometimes. But again, this team shows so much flashes of like good stuff that I feel like they're in the right direction, man.
I actually didn't plan to talk about the Chargers and the Commanders, but since you brought it up, the Chargers came out to an early lead, 10-0 in the first quarter, and after that, they were offensively nil. You could point to Marion Hampton going down as where the tides kind of shifted, but um, I remember you saying that, man, I forget his name, Jalen Daniels was probably suffering from the sophomore slump. I told you to be patient, give him a little bit of time, and ultimately he broke out 231 yards, 15 to 26 passing with 1 touchdown. He had a lot of support from Corey Krosky Merritt, who
Yeah,
scored 2 touchdowns and ran for 111 yards. I like how they're incorporating Debo Samuels. Um, Hopefully, the way that they use him continues or even improves when we get McLaurin back. But aside from injuries that affect fantasy outcomes and fantasy rosters, there wasn't much to write about here. I
yeah,
do want to ask though, the moment we asked or we even dared to say that Jim Harbaugh was some kind of coaching genius, he's dropped 2 in a row.
yeah. I mean, again, Omari and Hampton getting hurt had a lot to do with it, and Justin Herbert. did have some bonehead mistakes, like throwing a pick in the end goal line, dude, is unacceptable. Which he did, right? So that cost them. And then, they couldn't stop Washington from running the ball consistently. So those are some of the key factors that contribute to a loss, unfortunately, right? So that's the main thing. But I figured we were going to talk about Omarion Hampton at some point, because I'm just going to focus this on fantasy, right? Like, this guy was a super huge fantasy contributor, RB1 for a lot of people. And now, we already talked about Najee Harris being out a couple weeks ago for the season. So now nobody knows who's going to be the running back in a running back heavy offense that is one of the few offenses that only gives the ball to one running back. So the waiver wire race is going to be for either Hassan Haskins, which seems to be the favorite, or Kamani Vidal. I really like how Kamani Vidal looked at the end of the game. He played in the fourth quarter. He had the last drive. He played the whole last drive. He looked really good. But he was sent back to the practice squad, and the reason why is because if they keep him in the roster, they're going to have to keep him in. They can't send him back to the practice squad. They got to keep him in the roster for the whole time. So that's a tricky situation. I'm sure they do decide to pick him up. If they, it'll be later in the weekend, but we don't know who's going to be the main guy with these two guys. And I think that's the key conversation I have about this game, because whoever it is and whoever gets that guy is going to get a steal in the waiver wire.
According to the depth chart here, it looks like Hassan Haskins is the one that's going to take the mantle of the featured back. Vidal, like you said, he figured a lot into the passing game. And I also got a heads up that they signed Naheem Hines to the team, but I don't know how quickly he can just kind of come up to the big show and become any kind of relevant.
I don't trust Naheem Hines. He's always been more of like a pass catcher. There's also some rumors that they might bring in Gus Edwards, that he's still out there as a free agent and he knows the offense. I still think at least this week is most likely going to be Haskins, but I don't know how that's going to be down the line, because Hampton is on IR, so it's going to be a couple weeks.
He's out on IR at least for 4 weeks, but he's expected to come back. And when he comes back, the expectation is he's going to come back to his regular every down role.
Yeah, that's probably one of my key injuries of the week, dude. That's a rough injury, and I have Omarion Hampton in 2 of my leagues, so it's a rough one.
Yes. All right. Let's see here. The last game, yesterday's game, was the Jacksonville Jaguars played against the Kansas City Chiefs in Monday night. Surprise to everybody, the Jacksonville Jaguars won this game 31-28 on Trevor Lawrence's birthday. The Jaguars, they didn't take the lead quite yet, but they made the game interesting, starting with a 99-yard interception return by Devin Lloyd. You knew something like this had to happen because obviously Devin Lloyd was playing against Man Fantasy, right? And I'm someone who, although not all that important, I do stand here in front of the camera and I talk some bullshit and I talk about fantasy. So obviously, if there was a chance for anyone to do something big, it would have been against me. Devin Lloyd, 99-yard return for a touchdown. If Gary's rule of return yards had stayed, I don't know. I think I might have been in trouble. Or maybe just win by the slimmest of margins. But sorry, Ronald, it was not to be. The Chiefs were winning by 14 points at one point. Jacksonville's comeback included some unusual moments. Harrison Butker kicking the ball out of bounds, helping Jacksonville with the field position that ultimately led them to come back for the final drive before the final drive. Because after the first final drive, then Patrick Mahomes had a final drive, and you thought it was over there, but no. In like 3 plays, Trevor Lawrence got back into the end zone. Amazing. Even with the, what did you call it? The tumble rooski?
The tumble rooski? Yeah, I mean, that's just how you drew it up. You know what I mean? That's exactly how they practice it. You're going to step on my foot on this part right here, and I'm going to stumble over. I'm going to try to get up, and then I won't be able to get up right away. You know what I mean?
Again.
And fall again, you know what I mean? And then I'll get up. You know, that's how you trick the defense, right? To open up those lanes.
Given just enough time.
I mean, that was
Um,
Trevor Lawrence's best play of the game. I mean, he was pretty much mediocre for like 3.5 quarters. That last drive was where he looked better. He had some really good throws, but Trevor Lawrence didn't look great. The defense held it down right with that touchdown, and on the Kansas
kept
City
doing it down for
side,
sure.
I've said it before. I've said it a million times, dude. Until they can consistently run the ball, they're going to be struggling to shut down teams because they leave too much time on the clock. You need to run the ball in football, bro, to win games. It's just how it is. You can't, dude, like nobody's carrying the ball, not even 10 times on that team. It's just, you got to run the ball, dude. They're just going to struggle, dude.
I don't know. I feel like they ran the ball pretty well.
Not enough.
Hey, Pacheco was getting some love there, and they
Not
got into
enough.
the end zone with Kareem Hunt. They at 14-0, I don't know how much time you can kill. There was still going to be a ton of game to be played. And
Mm-hmm.
then after that, they were playing from behind to catch up, and then they had their play from behind again, not giving the defense a ton of time to recover.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that
it's
last drive they took up like 6 minutes. They did a good job, you know what I mean? But and again, Trevor Lawrence did great in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's where it gets down to. But throughout the game, they just what I mean, they should have shut this game down, in my opinion. They couldn't. And the key thing here is like these the thing with these Chiefs, dude, is just like they they have like a great drive and then they just come out and they don't, and then they have another great drive and then they don't. Like it seems like inconsistent in throughout the game. And I was in and out watching this game, so I'm not gonna act like I saw the entire game, but because I had to do some stuff. But as I was watching the game, it's just like, oh well, that sucked. Oh well, that was great. Oh well, that sucked. Oh, that was great. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's not the same Chiefs from before. You know what I mean?
I dig it.
All right, we've already kind of touched on it, but who needs to be replaced first of all, and who's worth picking up from any, if at all, of our waiver wires? Who should we target?
On the waiver wire for the League of Haters.
I mean,
I
just in
mean,
general, who needs to be replaced first of all?
the key thing we already talked about Haskins. I think that's probably what I mean, one of the biggest waiver wire acquisition, acquisitions acquisitions that people are going to look into, right? Because nobody knows what's going to happen there with that guy.
I'm sorry, who's Haskins?
The running back for San Diego.
Oh, that's the new one.
Yeah, the new one.
I'm sorry about that.
Hass-
All right,
Hassan, what is it? Hassan Haskins, isn't it?
Tom
Hassan
Haskins. Yeah, you're
Haskins.
right. Mhm.
Yeah, so that's probably where I think a lot of the waiver wires are going to go to
I
this
have
week.
the number one pick. Did I pick him up?
Again, it's a risk. I'm not going to say everybody's going to pick him up, right? Because again, it's either between him and Vidal. So he's the one that people are going to go for, and if you can't get him, you're going to try to get Vidal and see what happens. I think Rico Dowdle, if nobody has him, I think people are going to jump on him. He looked pretty good in Carolina. Um, so
Ooh,
I
but
personally think,
Carolina.
yeah, Carolina sucks, but running backs are rare this season, and he was toting the ball pretty well. Like he was putting up points just in yards. So I don't know. And they're playing Dallas, which
But,
sucks. They're playing
but against the
Dallas, bro.
Dolphins.
Yeah, but Dallas is even worse on defense against the run. Against the run, Dallas is one of the
Oh,
worst. So
yes, homers to right field. 7-6 Yankees.
man, fuck the Yankees. Um, I mean, so I think those are the main ones, in my opinion, that are worth looking into. I think you can make, if you need a tight end. I got to see what other bye weeks, but Harold Fanning from Cleveland looked like he was getting a lot of looks from Dylan Gabriel because, again, similar to Jackson Dart, they're working a lot of that play action, a lot of the short passes, and Fanning is getting open as well as Njoku, but Njoku's probably already owned. So, I mean, those are the ones that I would be looking at personally into the waiver wire. Other than that, everything else is a piece
Tight
of wood.
end's a quarterback's best friend.
Yeah, you know what I found? I've had 4 leagues this year, and I find it very difficult to find a wide receiver on the waiver wire every week. I feel like either everybody took all the wide receivers, or there just hasn't been that many like surprise wide
I feel like a
receivers.
lot of people play PPR and
Yeah,
That's kind of what you're chasing. All
Yeah,
right,
dude,
so
the receivers are getting hurt, but there's nobody like off the waiver wire that's taking up that work. You know what I'm saying? Like it's getting either distributed from what they have already, what's already owned. It's a weird year for receivers.
speaking of weird year for receivers, the number one pick in most fantasy leagues is Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase
Uh-huh.
is going to potentially have a new quarterback coming this week. I don't know if he makes it to play this week for Cincinnati, but they just picked up Joe Flacco. Any thoughts? Do they perform any better with Flacco?
I don't know if the Bengals are going to perform any better, but Jamar Chase put up like 20 something points this week in fantasy. So, um, I think Jamar Chase, just like Justin Jefferson, they
I
are
mean,
quarterback proof.
a lot, a lot of it had to do with either amazing skill or just luck. Some of those catches, those tiptoe catches, I don't know if they're going to be present all the time, if you can like constantly replicate it week after week after week. But yeah,
He can.
I don't know. He has
He
great
can.
hands and feet, but man,
I feel
every
like
week can
half
you
of
count on
his.
that?
I feel like half of Jamar Chase's catches are like tiptoe. Um, yeah, I mean, dude, I think Jamar Chase is quarterback proof. I think he put up great numbers, which people were expecting because he hasn't been, because of that lack of quarterback. Theoretically speaking, he should be better with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is walking into more better weapons in the Bengals, but he's walking into one of the worst offensive lines in football. So, in my opinion, it's like, how long can Flacco hold up in this offense? Because the guy is a walking statue. He's like 47 years old. He can't move. He's gonna have people in his face all the time. So I think it's just basically like like I've said it in the group chat. Like if I'm Flacco, I better have my doctor on speed dial, bro, because I think it's a matter of time before this guy gets smacked in the face. He doesn't get protection. So well, there'll be probably like really cool plays with Jamar Chase, maybe more than Browning for sure. But how long will Flacco be there? I don't know, man. That offensive line is horrible, dude. Horrible.
And they go against the Green Bay Packers and Micah
Mm,
Parsons this week. So
mm.
yeah,
I mean, Flacco isn't going to play this week. I highly doubt it. But regardless, whoever's at quarterback, there's going to get beat up.
all right. So in week 5 of the League of Haters, we had a couple of matchups that were closer than previously anticipated. I mean, I for one, I stopped paying attention. Like I said, I had already won my matchup on Thursday. But when I came and saw the final outcome, I was like, man, this was closer than I thought.
You were the highest score,
All,
dude.
was I?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Omar was talking shit to me on the side, so I thought that maybe he was the highest scorer, but I took the highest score. Okay. I mean, I'm not shocked. The,
Omar
the
was a
highest
close
score,
second.
and yeah, the highest score, and I left the potential for more points out there. I could have started Nick Chubb over Kenneth Walker. I don't know in what world I would have possibly imagined that, but could have done that and got a few more points. Calvin Ridley showed signs of life. I could have started him over Cooper Cup. But all in all, I mean, 149 points in a 12-team league is not bad.
Kudos to you for starting Shaheed, bro. That takes balls and it paid off. Because I have him in another league and I didn't start him. Not many people have been starting him, especially with you having Nick Chubb and Calvin Ridley. Kudos to
Yeah,
you, man.
but the decision was between Shaheed and Nick Chubb, and ultimately I said the Giants aren't stopping the receivers.
Good
There-
call.
There's there's a chance that Nick Chubb can get stuffed, over and over, or who knows, maybe the Ravens do something where they have to play from behind. I would have never imagined 44-10, right? Um, but all things considered, I say, yeah, the Giants are just not going to stop them, and they're coming off way too high of a high. I don't think that they're going to be able to replicate that what they did against the Chargers. Um, yes, I'm looking at all the scores here. I did have the highest score, second highest score. Often doubted. The Tua Taloco beats El Monte Candela. Monte Candela always exceeds his projection. Um, Poor guy, man. This team is ravaged by injuries. Injuries and bye
Mm,
weeks did not give him a fighting chance. Tua Taloco
mm,
came out. 22 points from Tua, 20 points from Jalen Waddle. Just call him every week, gets into the end zone, plus 163 yards. There was no looking back after that, man. Oh, and I hadn't noticed when I made the pick, but coming into the game, they said Bucky Irving was out. Very shrewd pick, picking up Rashad White. Uh, Two rushing touchdowns, 41 yards, 30 receiving yards. Without the threat of Bucky Irving, Rashad White is fantasy startable in every possible league.
The Bucks, they're putting up points, man. But it's tough having the Mercado in, based on what happened. Fantasy points lost there, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, having to start Darius Slayton, that's bold. That's rough, dude. There's nothing on the bench. There's nothing on the starting lineup for Monte Candela. This was a rough week, man.
There are still some things on the waiver. Man, I don't know.
I mean, this week,
I,
because he had players on bye. I'm just talking about this week, you know what I mean? It's bold to still have Tank Bigsby on your roster. That's rough.
Make some moves, guy. And still holding out hope for Rashid Rice.
Yeah, it's rough.
All right. Paki, you threw in the towel rather quickly. I think it was by the time the Colts kicker went down, you were like, oh, man, I lost. But you were in
Yeah.
the lead for a long time. You didn't lose this game until Patrick Mahomes' performance on Monday night.
Yeah, if
Ultimately, La
only
Maldición Inca, that's now 4-1 and in second place, beat your team by a little less than 3 points.
it's very simple, man. I knew I needed every single point to win this matchup because I was a massive underdog just based on matchups alone and based on how his team was performing. But the key thing here, man, dude, just look at the kicker, man. Like, I got 2 points from my kicker in a game where his team scored 40 points. They scored 6 touchdowns, which means that at the bare minimum, he would have gotten 6 points, which means I would have won. So I know it's like, oh, just losing the kicker, whatever. But dude, I knew as soon as I lost that kicker, it was fucking brutal, dude. It's just such bad luck.
Tough luck loss, but come on, who saw Mahomes the way that he's been playing this year with 26 fantasy points, 318 passing yards, and then rushing for a touchdown? If he throws for that touchdown instead of rushing for it, all bets are off. You might have still won this.
Might have, coulda, woulda, shoulda, bro. I was expecting Patrick
For
Mahomes
sure.
to put up 20 plus.
Yikes.
Dude,
Well,
Jake Ferguson
that's
might be like the best. By the way, Jake Ferguson might be like the best fantasy tight end. I don't know if that's what it means by fantasy points, but right now that dude has been smoking it since CeeDee Lamb went out. Jake Ferguson is
yeah.
like a beast on fantasy wise.
I play in another league with a lot of the same guys, Gary, Brito, Ali, some people I'm maybe forgetting. Um,
Oh, and
I think
by the way, sorry to cut you off. You know what I really would have won me the matchup besides Patrick Mahomes? Quinton Junkins, bro, had a 60-yard touchdown called back for an illegal formation.
I think
60
it says Kinshan.
Quinshawn. Okay, Judkins had a 60-yard, I think it was 60 or 70-yard touchdown called back on a fucking illegal formation. That was my fantasy
It,
game right there, dude.
when it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be because Scatterboo doesn't have the fumble. That's 2 points lost right there.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't your day, dude.
Yeah, man.
All right, but you knew it before I did because I still thought you had a chance.
I'm
Uh,
still I'm still positive
Gab,
for the rest of the week, for the rest of the season.
GAD 4-1, first place overall with his lowest fantasy total, I think. Maybe the lowest one was week one when he didn't start two players. 115 points, just enough though to beat Joel Vasquez, currently at 2-3, eighth place overall. Um, what performances stood out here? I mean, for me, it's Baker Mayfield, um, Baker.
Bro, Baker
It's
Mayfield.
Baker.
I mean, if you want to talk
But
about what performances stood out in the negative ways, James Cook had his worst game of the season,
right,
by far. You know what I mean? So I think that had to do with his
still
low
won though.
scoring output. No, I know he did, but I'm just saying, like, that's why he had a lower scoring output than usual. I mean,
I
James Cook
mean,
is not going to
it's
give you
not
5 points every week.
flashy. It's not flashy, but it's consistent, right? So Baker Mayfield, 26 points. That's better than average, but that seems to be
Hmm.
Baker for this year. I'm around St. Brown, 8 catches, 100 receiving yards, 14 points overall. Didn't get into the end zone, even on a game where his team scored 37 points, but consistency nonetheless. 8 catches and 100 yards.
Yeah,
I'm taking 14 points anytime I can. If all of my players score 14 points, I'm going to win every single game.
yeah,
Marvin Harrison, again in double digits, even in a loss. Dude, we didn't talk about that game, but we will. We will. Travis Etienne showed up. It's just he has a solo title in this game. I guess he was one of the interceptors or maybe fumble. I don't know. Uh, Tyler Warren, who you talk about week after week after week, he got into the end zone, 44 yards, and as you mentioned before, James Cook had his worst game of the season. But I mean, they can't all be winners.
yeah. I mean, you know what's crazy about Joel Vasquez's team is this is why quarterbacks are so tricky in fantasy. Drake May, in football wise, had an amazing game. Fantasy wise, he put up 12 points.
Yeah,
Atrocious, bro. That's tough. That's tough to swallow, man. Because you know he played good. He didn't suck. And him playing
he
good,
did
you're
not.
getting 12
Absolutely,
points.
I agree with you. There wasn't anything on the bench that would have helped them win this week, so I'm not gonna suffer too much through this. Good news though for Ramondre Stevens, Antonio Gibson. I think I saw that he was either on IR or out for the rest of the year. If so, Ramondre Stevens is going to be a featured back for New England. Whatever you think of that.
Well, he's just a fumble machine. That's all I think about it.
Also 4-1, third place. Now 4-1. Sorry, now 1-4. Beats the purge. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Let's start over. So the system beats the purge. The system is now 4-1. The purge is now 1-4. This was a close game. Um, I had Dak Prescott getting a lot of fantasy points against the New York Jets, and they did. Um, there was a chance to win here, but um, Cousin One said that he gave him 1-0. No, 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 no. He gave him 3-0. Bucky Irving was announced as not playing. He left him in the lineup, and you had two players on bye week, and you only lost by 7 fantasy points. This was definitely a game you could have won. I don't know where this guy's head is at. De que le dio pena a Gary. You already know
Yeah,
how I
he
think
just
about that.
he clearly didn't get to his lineup on time. That's all it is. I mean, Brito's been solid right for years, so I just think this was just a week where he couldn't get to his lineup. I mean,
Oh
I'm not going
man,
to
come
talk
on!
much about this.
You had all
I'm
week
not.
knowing that
Uh,
Cooper and Kate and Ellis were all on bye week, so there was
yeah,
something to
yeah.
be done there.
I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying what happened. I just think he didn't make it. And I'm not going to waste too much time talking about a lot of performances here, except Jonathan Taylor. I mean, the dude freaking destroyed the Raiders, which he has his entire career. So I mean, that's pretty much the highlight, right, of this matchup.
I think this is Jonathan Taylor's second 3 touchdown game. This is insane, dude. This guy's pace is amazing,
Yeah, man.
incredible.
He's
After he was the number one overall pick in fantasy a couple of years back, and then he had an injury, I thought he was done. I never saw this in his future ever again,
don't
but
call it a comeback. What a comeback, bro! Yeah, man.
I
He's
guess so.
probably the best. I think he's probably the best running back this season so far.
Has to be. I think I picked against Cousin Juan this week, as I'm known to do. But come on, man. I picked a team that has Josh Allen, Debo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Pacheco, who didn't play too bad at all. And even then, throwing Hurts managed to win this game. In a game where Jalen Hurts lost the game in reality, but still played okay fantasy wise, almost 20 points, more than Josh Allen if you're counting. He didn't get into the end zone, didn't have a ton of rushing yards here. Um, Devontae Smith showed up. Cortland Sutton got a few passes, even though he didn't get into the end zone. And Devon A. Chain, he may just be the only thing that still kind of shines in consistently, let's say, in Miami. Um, I don't know what to think about Alvin Kamara. I think we're on the down slope of his career.
Oh yeah,
But all in all, yep, all in all, 111 points, just enough to slide past Daryl's team of screenshot. Dude, on paper, this team is so good.
The
how
screenshots.
they are currently 1-4 is above and beyond me. This is crazy, dude.
Well, I mean, the Chase Brown one hurts. To be honest with you, the Chase they don't have a lot of running back power, in my opinion, because Brees Hall has been good, but he hasn't been the top. And Isaiah Pacheco, my man, he doesn't even give you. He's the single digit guy. So, and Chase
And
Brown
talk
has been
about
a huge
shooting yourself in the
disappointment.
foot.
So
He left Jamar Chase on the bench in
that's the
his
big one,
best
dude.
game.
That's the big one. That's you
For
never
sure,
bench
it's a
your
big one.
first round pick. You never bench your first round pick. You never bench your first round pick unless they're hurt.
Listen, and I know that Omar had the first overall pick, and he decided to go with Saquon, but Jamar Chase, in almost every consensus fantasy, was the number one overall pick. You left the number one overall pick on the bench. Yeah, no, Chase Browning, blah blah blah. But come
You
on,
deserve
guys,
you deserve to
that
lose.
was a
You
win.
deserve to lose. You deserve to
I
lose.
guess so. My apologies here on recording to cousin Juan. I picked against you. I would have never thought that they were going to bench Jamar Chase. Week 5 in the
That was
books.
that was brutal.
All right, so let's start with the number one team, GAD, currently at 4-1, going up against the number two team, La Maldición Inca, also at 4-1.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah, this one is gonna definitely decide who may. I mean, they can't both lose, right? This one is definitely deciding first place overall. I think La Maldición Inca did a little bit of cleaning up. He has a couple of bench spots open. I'm not sure who he's trying to chase. Um, and he's back to Jordan Love against Cincinnati this week, benching or in favor of Patrick Mahomes. Jackson Smith and Jigba. I can't sing this guy's praises any further. Drake London is going to go up against Buffalo. I don't like that matchup for Drake London, and I still don't trust Michael Penix Jr.
RJ Harvey is an interesting one. Do you have no? Oh well,
He just lost to Marion Hampton. Maybe he's in the sweepstakes to try to get the Haskins gentleman that we talked about. Um, this is a strong team, but ultimately, I'm going to pick against them. I'm going to go with Gika's team. The only hope that La Maldición Inter really had would have been for him to face GAD when GAD was going up with a bunch of bye weeks. That's not to be the case this week, so it's GAD for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with GAD as well because he also has Josh Jacobs that he's gonna have to bump up at some point. In my opinion, he's gonna be in his starting lineup. There's no way you leave Josh Jacobs on the bench, right? So, I think that's a key starter, right? La Maldición Inca, like as RJ Harvey has been super inconsistent. I have him in another league, dude. He had 1 week this whole season where he was good. Then he's barely like getting the ball. So he's such a difficult one to have, right? And Quentin Johnson went back to reality, I feel like, last week, being back to non-relevant. So we'll see if he picks it back up or not. We'll see how
I
the
think he
loss
will.
of Omari. Well, we'll see how the loss of Omari Hampton, right, affects the passing game. That's a possibility. So we'll see. I'm going with GAD on this one, man.
Yeah. If my opinion counts to you for anything, I think I'm starting Matthew Stafford against Baltimore, given that their defense has been awful this year, just giving up points to everybody. And despite a million and one injuries, San Francisco defense, they still keep it pretty tight. So it's a tough one, man. I don't know if I would
Yeah,
ever bench Baker Mayfield, but I think Matthew Stafford has the advantage this week. Something to think about. Maybe flip a coin or just start Baker. He's awesome.
yeah. I mean, either way, I think it's fun. I think they'll be close, honestly.
All right, we talked about the 1 and 2 teams. The number 3 teams is the system. Currently at 4-1, he's going up against the 2-3 aptly named Joel Vasquez team.
Um, Fuck Gary, but I think he wins it this week. Um, Again, bye weeks are going to be a huge negative here for the team of Joel Vasquez, not having Justin Jefferson. Like you said, Drake May is more of a game manager. He may win this game against New Orleans. He's primed to win it, but all that said, I don't think he's going to score enough fantasy points for him to matter. Um, Ramondre Stevenson, we talked about him. Um, when it's all said and done, this game is going to be somewhat close. You put in Rome Odunze in place of Justin Jefferson, and you take your shot at the end zone and see what happens. But man, the system is just so strong. But you know what? Fuck Gary. I'm gonna play Joel Basket this week.
No, I'm picking the system, dude. I'm sorry, I can't. I mean, no Lamar Jackson, no Justin Jefferson, and Gary has the golden ticket, and Jonathan Taylor. Like, I don't even have to talk about the rest of the team, dude. He's got Jonathan Taylor. They're going up against Arizona, which lost to the Titans. They haven't been great, so that's the golden ticket right there. I don't even have to bother going through the rest of the team. He's got Lad McConkey on the bench. You know he's going to start him. He's tricking everybody, and he's got Bijan Robinson. He's also going to bump up. So this is going to be an easy one for the system. I don't think it's even going to be close.
Heard. All right. Let's stay in order then. The fourth team. That'll be my team. Two girls, one cup, currently at 3-2, going up against another 3-2, the 6 team overall throwing hurts. It's a battle of cousins. It's the Giants
Oh,
going against the
the Cousin
Eagles.
Bowl. The Cousin Bowl. Talk your shit now.
Oh, I ain't scared. Fuck out of here. I ain't scared. Oh, I just opened the page and I found out that Brenton Strange is on IR. Um, Not that I was starting him anyway, but okay, that's interesting. Um, I think I am gonna go with Calvin Ridley in place of Cooper Cup. I favor the matchup against the Raiders. Puka Nakua is going up against Baltimore. I got some favorable matchups here. I don't see too many in green for throwing Hurts, and I believe that I'm going to go with Sam Darnold instead of Kyler Murray. I don't believe I said it earlier, and I'm stick by my convictions. Um, I'm hoping that Raquan Smith is ready to come back this week, but if not, Pete Werner has not been a bad replacement. All in all, I'm pretty satisfied here. The only place that I'm kind of shaky every week is with my kicker Joey Sly, but against the Raiders, I'll take my chances.
I mean, I'm
I'm
gonna go with
taking two
throwing
girls one
Hurts.
cup.
I'm going with Cousin Juan on this one, bro. I'm going with Cousin Juan because he's got Jalen Hurts and Devontae
Okay.
Smith versus the New York Giants. They
Mm.
own the New York Giants. You already saw. I mean, you called it yourself that you picked against the New York Giants last week to start your receivers. So
Against the
I'm
secondary.
expecting. I do not think the Eagles are going to lose back to back, especially being the Giants being the second one. So
They
I
won't.
expect that 1-2 combo. What do they call it when you have a quarterback and receiver combo that has a name in
Stacking.
fantasy? I think this stack this week is going to pay off. So I'm gonna go with Cousin Juan.
Yeah, the Eagles are for sure going to beat the Giants. That's not a question. But it is a short week. It is a divisional matchup. Anything can happen.
Thursday
I
night.
think. I think it'll be a low scoring game. You know, people.
Anything could happen. I just think these guys are going to put up fantasy points.
Yeah. All right. So you got throwing Hurts. I'm going with two girls, one cup. We move on. Let's see. We got the fifth place Wakanda Panthers. Fifth place, thanks to me. By the way, I'm gonna need to submit an invoice for the money I made Ronald to call the fat lady to sing. All right.
That
Thanks
was
to
some
me.
epic trash talking.
Come on, man. I thought you were gonna bring trash talking back. I had to do it for you.
Not this week. Not this week. But I'm definitely going to do it. No, that was not. I didn't
Cousin
feel
Juan, I
comfortable
got
with
your
that.
number.
But this week I'm
I got.
comfortable though.
I'm dropping that dime, baby. I got your number. Tuota Loco, currently in seventh place, 2-3. Um, but they had a really promising week this week. They were second highest score going up against the Wakanda Panthers. Damn. I feel like I say the same thing every week, right? Oh, the Dolphins and this and that. But I just played against the Wakanda Panthers, and even in a week where he was beat from Thursday on, he had no business playing on Sunday and anything else. But this team puts up points. I mean, they made it close. They made it close. They probably would have beat like 9 other teams in the league. I'm not going to bet against Jared Goff. Even the declining Devontae Adams should have some kind of resurgence against the Baltimore Ravens. Stephon Diggs found his connection. He's getting his yards, he's getting his catches. I'm a big believer in Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt. From the moment I saw him in week one, he hasn't disappointed me. They try to mix in a little bit of Chris Rodriguez. I'm not buying that crap at all. Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt, now that Jaden Daniels is back, that's my guy. He's getting into the end zone against Chicago. Brock Bowers, he was out last week. I don't know what to think about him. He's kind of hit or miss.
He's not
And
playing this
David
week.
Montgomery,
I can tell you right now, he's not playing on Sunday. But he's got that.
yeah.
He's got Kincaid. Kincaid's been nice.
Yeah, yeah. A bit of a fake out. Maybe he just changes them last minute. But all in all, this team looks solid top to bottom. Dude, when your last flex all the way down, last flex, maybe this is my game, but when your last flex is Derrick Henry, you know the opposition is in trouble. Um, Ron, dude, I love you. Sorry I had to be you. Gave you so much shit this week, but I got you winning this week against Tuataloque.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stand on business, right? Saquon Barkley, right, against the Giants, he should put up numbers, right? Emeka Buka. How
Every
did
week.
Gronk? How did Gronk call him? I like how Gronk called him better. Miki Boo Boo, something
Big
like
boo
that.
boo.
A Boo Boo. I think a Boo Boo is gonna put up numbers. And again, I don't want to be like hating on
Every
the
week.
Dolphins because Jalen Waddle has been, getting getting his getting his stats right since Tyreek Hill was
He
out.
stepped
So
up. He stepped
you
up,
know,
yeah.
yeah, he stepped
Tyreek
up.
Hill is
So
out. He stepped up. Well, we figured that he might suffer with no attention being paid to anyone other than him. But the Dolphins have weapons, and when needed to, Waddle steps up.
yeah, and
Hasn't
Rashad White has done good too. You know what I mean? He's going to be the lead role there. You know what I mean? David Njoku, right? Like you saw what happened with the rookie quarterback. He's getting some looks in the end zone. I like the Tua Tagovailoa team. Like I can see why the Yahoo has them as favorites, but
I don't hear that anymore.
but but I don't know, man. This Wakanda Panthers team is kind of stacked. The way that I see it, you know what I mean? I think. Nah, fuck it, bro. I'm gonna go with Tuata Loco, man. Fuck that. I'm gonna go with Tuata Loco.
Dan
I
Alvarez
see
has
it, but
brought
I
it.
don't see it. I see it, but I don't see it, man. I see it, but I don't see it. I'm sorry.
I got you. 19th overall, going up against the 11th team, and that's the Lion Kings facing Screenshot. Lion Kings currently at 2-3. Screenshot is 1-4. Dude, I can't believe this team with all this talent. You keep finding ways to lose. Like that's kind of the end all be all of this. You find ways to lose.
I wonder if he's gonna bench Jamar Chase again.
No, he already has him up on the lineup. Um,
Woo!
just fight. Daryl, you're the Arizona Cardinals of this league. You you could have been 4-1. Hell, probably even undefeated, but you find ways to lose. Like every week, you just do the thing that's going to get you along. Um,
Yeah, man.
yeah. Uh,
I can't pick against myself, dude. I just can't. So I'm gonna pick myself.
yeah, I want to pick you too, but Josh Allen needs to bounce back. I love the way they're using Debo Samuels. Jamar Chase is going to figure back into this lineup. He started him again. After that, the team kind of dropped off a lot. Chase Brown, Mark Andrews, Brees Hall, who's up and down going against Denver, Isaiah Pacheco. Ugh. Ugh. I did see though that Travis Hunter figured into the offense, so I think, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, right? If he gets a touchdown here and there, if this is his week, this could be the tipping point for your team. I'm
He
going to
had a
go
crazy
ahead
catch.
and I'm going to pick the Arizona Screenshot 2024 this week.
No, I'm picking myself. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The Nico Collins bye week really hurts because that's my only receiver that's been consistent. I'm still waiting for Brian Thomas. Like he showed some flashes in the last game of a resurgence, but he is talk about really somebody that fell off compared to his last season, right? Brian Thomas has been hot doo doo. I'm still waiting though for this crazy week to happen, and Seattle has been playing great and they've been giving up good games, but they've been high scoring games. So I'm hoping this is the week that Brian Thomas comes up, I still got to add a kicker and a defender into my team, which I'm gonna do obviously tomorrow because I lost my kicker, right, Schrader. So I'm counting on my running backs to carry me through this as well because I don't think that's why I picked me. Being honest, screenshots ain't got no running backs. I got running backs. My guys are gonna carry me through, bro.
All right, so we got some receivers versus some running backs. Uh, in a passing league, I'm gonna go with screenshots this week. But hey, man, you fill in those slots. That projection is gonna change. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
The
man.
last team, the last two teams to discuss. We're gonna call this the Doo Doo Bowl.
The Mud Bowl.
10th 10th overall, 1-4, the Purge going up against the 12th overall. I remind you, in the 12-team league, also 1-4, El Monte Candela. Oh, wow. Um, you know what? Monty has a way of stepping it up. Um, I'm not buying this projection. You got to do something about Amari Mercado. Kaimi Fairburn is going to be out this week on bye. I don't know, dude. I just feel like he doesn't always follow or pay attention to this fantasy that closely. If you start DK Metcalf and you start DeAndre Swift, I'm more inclined to pick this team. Um, I'm actually rooting for them. I already played them and won. I am going to pick El Monte Candela this week. He won't be the worst team in the league after this
I,
week.
yeah, I got him Monte Candela too. He's got the second waiver, so he's probably gonna pick something up in waiver also to help. I mean, at some point he's got to let go of Tank Bigsby. But the thing with the Purge is that you got Bucky Irving who's not playing, right? And he's all the way down in the waiver wire. He's waiver 4, so he's not gonna get one of the running backs. He could start J.K. Dobbins in there, which would work. Obviously because J.K. Dobbins has been pretty good. But then other than that, dude, I don't know, man. I mean, he does have a good team. Damn it. It is a good team. It's a tough one, man. It is a tough one. Yeah, I think Dak Prescott versus Carolina is going to put up points. Garrett Wilson, not so much versus Denver. Denver, I mean, he's going to get, the top corner. And Michael Pittman has been pretty consistent. So Kyle Pitts, dude, what is up? Kyle Pitts is just like, is he going to, I don't know. I don't even know what to do with Kyle Pitts anymore, dude. Is he a
Kyle
bust at this point?
Pitts, yeah,
Like, I
Kyle
don't even
Pitts
know what the fuck to do with this guy.
is. Tell me how wrong I am. Kyle Pitts is Zion Williamson.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Amazing, versatile, do everything, college career in the pros, not so much. Even though every once in a while Zion has kind of flashed here and there. Kyle Pitts, not so much, but that's my comp, man.
I would. Shit, I think he's beaten. I think Zion Williamson is better than Kyle Pitts. But yeah, I mean, and then you have Zay Flowers,
I
which
don't think he's
I'm big
bad. I mean, he's not like obviously dropping balls or anything. It's just
fantasy. I'm talking about fantasy. You know what I mean? At least
I
fantasy.
know
And Zay Flowers is good, but no Lamar. I don't know. Is Lamar back? Is he? If there's no Lamar, there's no There's no Flowers. So if
Kyron
Lamar's
Williams is going to score like 23 fantasy points.
yeah, if
I like
Lamar is
Kyron Williams.
back, so if Lamar is back, I think the Perch could win because Zay Flowers could be the difference maker. If Lamar is not back, I'm going with Monte Candela. I think Lamar will not be back, so I'm gonna go with Monte Candela on this one.
I don't want to stand on the same side you are. I do believe in Monte Candela, but no. I like Kyron Williams too much. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Purge. I'm
All
switching my
right,
pick. Doing it live. All right, so
all
those
right.
are our picks for week 6 of the League of Haters. So we're going to do Coach's Corner. And before we do Coach's Corner, I want to set this up. So at some point this week, you, Paki, you asked, what do I need to do to get back into basketball? I'm so demotivated right now. And Cousin
Shit.
Juan says, just get up for it the way you get up for football. Like, this is something stupid. How can you even say some nonsense like that? The thing about basketball, at least NBA basketball and football, is I feel like you don't need to watch
an entire basketball game. I've seen teams leading by 20 and then they end up losing. Um, and I've also practically seen every single thing that I can imagine I can see on a basketball court. If it's not a fight or Draymond Green losing his mind or some crazy nonsense like I've seen just about every dunk I can, and they're getting weaker every day. I can't watch another, 3, 4 nights in a row where everybody's just running 3 point line to 3 point line, taking 3 point shots and running the other way. It almost feels like soccer with a lot more scoring. Um, but football, the devil is in the details. Dude, in this play that you're going to break down, right? You're going to talk more about it, but all of this started with the play that I have highlighted back here. Emari DiMercado breaks out a 70-yard run, celebrates a little bit too soon, and drops the ball before the end zone. Emari DiMercado, who for his career has 3 touchdowns, he thought himself, so cool. I'm so used to doing this that I can just drop the ball right here. Brother in Christ, run through that end zone. Do a whole last celebration. Do a chicken dance. You were up like 21-10 at that point. That would have put him 28 with the extra point. I mean, this is where you celebrate. Not when you're losing, by 30 points and you get into the end zone and here you want to break out a touchdown dance. This was your chance. Only your fourth career touchdown. How are you so cool that you dropped the ball right before the end zone? What's the point of that? What is that? Like, what did you mean? And and his coach got fined $100,000 for punching him on a sideline for doing that dumb shit. I don't think I can blame him. I think I can blame him. All right.
Yeah,
So
it's tough.
the play you're gonna break down, Paki, officially on all of the scorekeeping went down as an others touchdown, not a passing touchdown, not a special teams touchdown, not a rushing touchdown.
Recovery fumble.
Others. This is why we have to watch football because it seems like every week they do some shit we've never seen before. Now, go ahead. I set you up.
Yeah,
Knock him down.
the Cardinals were supposed to win that game. Was the play that happened close to the end of the fourth quarter. The Titans are down by 2 scores, right? 3rd and 2. They've been driving the ball down the field at this point. This is the best Cam Ward has looked. But at the end of the day, Cam Ward looked like a rookie again on this one, and I'm going to show you guys why. He looked like a really big rookie, and he got lucky. I mean, that's the reality of it. He got lucky. This is a game that was filled with bad luck for Arizona. So 3rd and 2, they're looking to throw the ball, right? So the formation is pretty straightforward, telling them that they're going to try to throw the ball because on 3rd and 2, it's very rare for you to like. This is an inside zone type formation if they were going to run the ball, or a GT counter type formation if they were going to run the ball, and it's very rare for you to do that on 3rd and 2. So Arizona was perfectly prepared. They called the perfect play to defend this. So first, Tennessee Titans, right? They're running Tony Pollard on a check and then coming out to the flats. They got the tight end on a quick out right here, which is honestly the first read. You can tell very quick that's the first read. And you got Calvin Ridley on a deep out or a corner route. It kind of breaks off out of the screen, so it's a corner. I think it's a corner route, forming some type of smash concept. So this is where Cam Ward's eyes go to, and then you got a cross right here with a drag route to come into Cam Ward's vision, basically, if these two are covered. So that's the look. This is a decoy route. I doubt that he's going to get to that 4th read going deep over here. I think that's more of like a pre-snap read. Like if you have it, take it. If you don't take it. Obviously, you don't have it because the corner's playing him off right here, or not the corner, the nickel, right? And then Tony Pollard is a check down. So the thing is that Cam Ward's eyes are on this side of the field right here, and this is where he's trying to throw the ball. Now, the defense on the Arizona side, right? And pardon my drawings because I'm doing this from a mouse pad, right? The defense is honestly one of the best defenses for this, one of the best coverages for this type of situation. Is something that I used to call on the Crows. We would call it cover 8 on the Crows. Arizona just ran it a little bit different. They're basically manning up across the board, but they're only rushing 3, and they're sending a linebacker so they can send out the defensive ends to the flanks, basically to the flats, right? So you got both defensive ends covering the flats underneath, right, to make sure that they got covered any short route, trying to go with like a short out, right, to avoid that quick, easy first down. They got a middle linebacker who's a robber in the middle. So they got 3 people underneath. They got a cover. It looks like a too high shell, right? Because this safety is technically like a too high safety, but they're playing a basically cover one robber man with underneath zones. So the safety that's off the screen's got the deep zone back here. Everybody else is manned up. So this is the perfect coverage for the play that was called, and this is a great coverage for any short passes. This is meant to take away any short passes. And this is why he messed this one up. Because on a 3-man rush, you have to stay in the pocket, right? You have to stay in the pocket to get to those other reads, to make sure your receivers get open. He doesn't do that, right? So when this play starts off, let's see my screen right here. When this play is going, I'm playing the play right here, 3-man rush. Look at the protection. You got 5 guys protecting. I'm pausing it right there. This is all on Cam Ward. This is why this is a bad play. For some reason, he's already panicking. Dude, you have time in the pocket. Why are you panicking? He found nobody opening. He's panicking, and he caused that pressure himself because that's horrible pocket presence, horrible way to move in the pocket. Then you got these
He
linemen.
ran into the defense.
Yeah, and then you got these linemen standing around like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you can blame them for just standing around, but they don't understand, first of all, why he's scrambling. And they probably thought the ball was out already because this makes no fucking sense. Why is he doing this? You know what I mean? He ran into it. And then you got the defender, the DN on the flat. You got somebody covering man right there. They tip the ball. It gets intercepted. Ball gets intercepted. The defender fumbles. And to me, this was kind of controversial. They said on the that it was a fumble because he made a football move going to the ground. So he collected the ball. He grabbed the ball. He took like 2 or 3 steps. Then he fumbled the ball by himself. Nobody touched him. So he wasn't down. I thought when I saw this live, I thought it was not a fumble. I just thought it was an incompletion. And obviously then Tennessee recovers.
He caught it one hand, then he put a second hand on it. Then he took steps, then he fell.
Yeah. Yeah,
How
when you see the slow motion. Yeah. And then the other part that I have a problem with this play where it goes to coaching, right, is when we talk about the scramble drill, right? As soon as your quarterback is scrambling, which he shouldn't have, you're told as a receiver that you're supposed to stop your route, run towards the quarterback, especially on a 3rd and 2. These guys are still running downfield. Cam Ward is already scrambling. Like, dude, stop your route. Come back. You could stop right here. You can come back right here. That one, the tight end running that out. Come back to the ball right here. Make that easy, man. Make that easy. You know what I mean? Tight end's all the way downfield, bro. Like, I don't even know. It's a quick out, and he took it deeper. So, because the receiver that you're seeing short right here, that's the drag receiver. That's the one that was running the drag that's coming across from the other side. The tight end is like, what, 10 yards downfield at this point. Look at the tight end right here. See that?
Yep.
Where is he going? Come back. Try to get that first down. So, but again, this all starts with Cam Ward, dude. I am starting to feel like Cam Ward. It's too soon to tell, but he's not looking great right now, to be honest with you. Not looking great. Yeah, man.
Dude, thanks again for your time and attention. Another awesome show. Thank you, Paki, for doing Paki's Corner. At this point, I think we should call it. It's the top of the 8th. The Yankees are winning 9-6. I want to see the end of this game. So thank you, everyone, for watching another week of the Unofficial Commentators. And we'll see you next week.
Go Blue Jays.